Critical race theory. I'm sure all of you have heard this term, and it's a very contentious topic at the moment. But what does it really mean? Well, there are thousands of definitions, and people can't really seem to agree upon one, whether you're for critical race theory or against it. But understanding its roots is a good place to start when discussing the actual definition. Critical race theory derives from critical theory, which is a way of looking at the world through the lens of Marxist class struggle. In other words, the bourgeoisie versus the proletariat, or the oppressors versus the oppressed. In other words, it's a way of looking at people as members of a group rather than as individuals. The problem with this is that individual experiences are unique. Regardless of what ethnic group you belong to, your experiences can be completely different from someone of that same ethnic group. Ethnic groups are not monoliths, and seeing them as such would be definitionally racist. Critical race theory also proposes that racism is inherent in people and in systems. So it doesn't matter how you were brought up, as long as you are of a certain color, you are inherently racist, and it is your job to sort of systematically remove that out of you. So suppose you're white. According to critical race theory, you are inherently racist, and you need to remove this part of you. In other words, you need to become less white, as Coca-Cola told their employees to be, in order to become less racist. Now, you might have heard mainstream liberals bring up points about voter ID and police brutality when discussing systemic racism. But for CRT, it doesn't stop there. Critical race theorists are prepared to question everything. Logic, due process, rights, markets. These are all Western concepts that have white supremacy baked into them. Why, you might ask? Well, the reasoning is something along the lines of, well, at that time most people were racist, so these ideas must also be racist. Now, while it is true that a majority of people were racist at that time, this is committing the fallacy of post hoc ergo propter hoc. In other words, just because A came after B, that means that A was caused by B, which is, of course, not true at all. So, according to critical race theorists, just because these laws came after the fact that people were racist at the time, these laws must also be racist. This is a completely fallacious line of reasoning. Another fallacious and simply wrong concept pushed by critical race theorists is that of disparate outcome theory. In other words, simply because different races have different outcomes, it must be because of systemic racism. The problem with this is that there are a number of factors that you aren't considering. Racism may well be one of those factors, but when you see different outcomes, it isn't enough to just chalk it down to racism without considering the other factors. While we should, as a society, hope to have better outcomes for everyone, it isn't enough to just focus on that one factor, which may not even be the biggest factor at play. You're not going to solve the issue if you just zone into one small part of it. Let's not let Wokists infiltrate society with yet another guise for their cultural Marxism. But when we refute their ideas, we have to be thorough in debunking them. It isn't enough to just dismiss an idea without fully understanding what it means. Otherwise, Wokists will continue to rope in young, impressionable minds with their claims of advocating for equal rights, while indoctrinating the same people into believing things that are far more radical and dangerous. Anyway, that'll do it for me today. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, you made it to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here. More of my videos will be up here on the screen, and be sure to also check the links in the description for my social media, my podcast, and all of that other good stuff. Alright, until next time, peace.